Hi beautiful people, you are welcome to yet another tutorial video. If you are new here, you are most welcome. My name is Chinyere Chichi for short, and if you are a returning subscriber, you are the absolute best. Thanks for always coming back. And in today's video, it is all about the newest Kaftan Bubu as never have seen anywhere else. Yes, I said that with my full chest. And that being said, I have the dress form of this Kaftan Bubu up on my channel already. You can check that out. Please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and become a member of the family. Thank you. I'll be drafting out the pattern first of all on a pattern paper before I transfer it to the fabric itself. This is because of the whole process that involves in cutting the jumpsuit, unlike in the dress form where you can cut directly on the fabric. But for this one, a pattern paper is advised to use before you transfer it to the fabric. And I'll be using a total of 4 pattern papers, 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So here are the first 2 pattern papers that I'll be starting with. And I'm going to be holding them together or joining them together with the help of a stick-on or anything that's able to hold them together. So at this point, it's one piece. And the next thing, I'll be getting the length of this jumpsuit. And the length here is 60 inches plus the seam allowance for the fold edge. Okay, so depending on the fold edge you want to use. And after that, you get all your vertical measurements. And the vertical measurements, like we all know, includes the armhole length, the breast point measurement, the under bust, the half waist measurement, the shoulder to hip. And for the shoulder to hip, whatever your shoulder to hip is, you add 3 inches to it. Like the shoulder to hip here is 27. I'm going to be adding 3 inches, making it 30, because this is a jumpsuit, so that you don't have issues at the crotch area. So you do that at the shoulder to hip, then shoulder to knee. Having done that, I'm going to be marking the same thing at this point, at this part of the pattern paper. This is to make the whole thing straight. I want every line to be marked out straight, so I'm going to be joining them. This is the armhole. I'm not going to be joining it all the way to the center. Okay, I'm going to be starting the joining from the breast point. So this is the breast point measurement. I'm going to be joining every one of them together, as you can see. Then for the armhole, I'm going to be marking it outward just like this. And for clarity's sake, once again, this is the armhole, this is the breast point, the under bust, half waist, shoulder to hip, shoulder to knee. Okay, and next I'll be getting the crotch measurement. And in getting the crotch measurement, which I'm going to be marking all the way from here upward, in getting that, I'm going to be using the hip measurement, and I'm going to be dividing the hip by 4. Okay, we divide the hip by 4 and further divide it by 4. For instance, this hip I'm using is 40. I'm to divide 40 by 4, which will give me 10. I'll further divide the 10 by 4 to give me 2.5. So that is the crotch measurement I'm going to be using to mark out. And I'm going to be marking out the 2.5 from here, just as you can see. So this measurement I mark is 2.5. And I'm going to be marking it all the way. And this is the 2.5 crotch measurement. And you carve out your crotch this way. So this is our crotch. And all the horizontal measurements will begin from the point of this crotch outward like this. And the first horizontal measurement we are going to be taking is the shoulder divided by 2, which is 15 divided by 2, which will give us 7.5. And this is the 7.5. And we add, measure another 7 inches. That is for the pleat. So this is 7 inches for the pleat. And I'm going to be adding a seam allowance of 2 inches. So here is it. So I have shoulder divided by 2, 7 inches for pleat, and 2 seam allowance. So I'll be marking all the points all the way down to the end of the jumpsuit. Please note that the 7 inches, I marked the midpoint of the 7 inches, which is 3.5. That is the point you are seeing between the 7 inches for the pleat. So I'll be marking this all the way down like I did in the dress Kaftan Bubu, sorry. All these points is to enable me figure out where the pleat should lie at the end of the day. Then this is the armhole area. This is where the armhole stops. And I'm going to be carving out the armhole just like this. So you carve your armhole. And at this point, I'm going to be transferring all the body measurements, all the horizontal body measurement divided by 4, plus the 7 inches for pleat, and then the 2 seam allowance. Okay, so all the body measurements are divided by 4 plus all the allowances, that are the 7 inches and the 2 seam allowance. So this is the bust divided by 4 plus 7 plus 2. So all the allowances is going to be 9. Okay, make sure you do that Then the under bust band divide by 4 plus 9, okay? Then the half waist, that's the waist measurement, divide by 4 plus 9. And the same thing to the hip, that is hip divide by 4 plus 9. And I'm going to be joining all these points together. That's the upper part of the jumpsuit. I'm going to be joining all the points together with the help of a curve rule. So here are the points all joined together before we move to the lower part of the jumpsuit. So we have our points joined together. Having done that, we are going to be moving to the lower part of the jumpsuit, which is the knee and the ankle area. And in doing that, we are going to be making use of the hip measurement, okay? So the hip measurement divided by 4, which is 10 inches plus the 2 inches seam allowance. We're not going to be using this 7 inches for the pleat at this point, okay? We're not going to be using that, just the hip divided by 4 plus the 2 inches seam allowance. That is what we'll be using. We are not touching this pleat. So the hip measurement divided by 4, which is 40, divided by 4 is 10 plus 2 inches allowance, that is 12. Okay, so I'm going to be marking the 12 from this crotch measurement. So this is the 12 allowance, 12 inches, this is 12. Then this is the crotch. We are going to be adding the crotch, which is 2.5, remember? So the total of 14.5 inches all the way from the crotch to the other point, okay? So all the way from here to here is 14 inches, 14.5. So I'm going to be getting the midpoint. That is what I'm going to be using to get the midpoint of the knee area. So the midpoint is 7.25. 7.25, and then I come to the ankle area, I do the same thing, 7.25, just like you do your normal trouser measurements, in case you don't understand what I mean. So that is it. So the knee circumference I'm going to be using, I'm not going to be using the actual knee circumference because this is a palazzo pant, so I want it wide. So the knee circumference, when I divide it by 4, will give me 4.5, but I'm going to be using a bigger measurement, so I'm going to be adding 1.5 to it because I want, this is a wide leg pant, it's actually a palazzo pant, so I'm not going to be using the actual knee measurement, that's the knee circumference measurement. I'll be adding like 1.5, which will give me 6 inches on both sides. Okay, so this is 6 inches on both sides, and then I'll be adding now the 7 inches for the pleats. Please get this very clearly. So this is 12 all the way from here to here, and then the pleats allowance, which is 7 inches. And I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing at the ankle area. Like I said, it's a wide leg pant, and I'm going to be using the same measurement at the knee, the same measurement I'm going to be using it at the ankle, because they are going to look, it's going to look all the way straight to the ankle area. So I'm going to be transferring the same measurements just like I used at the knee. I'm going to be transferring the same thing to the ankle measurements. Okay, so I have all the way down. So I'm going to be joining the 2 points from the knee to the ankle with the straight ruler, just like this. Okay, so this is the point, and then I'll be joining the curve area with the help of the curve rule, that is from the knee to the crotch, like this, and then from the knee to the hip area, just like this. Okay, so this is what we have. This is looking like a normal jumpsuit already, like you can see. So this is what we have. This is what is looking like. The front part of our jumpsuit is ready, and the next thing is to cut out along the pattern. So this is me cutting out the front part of our jumpsuit. So you cut along all the marked out points, and this is what the front part of our jumpsuit, after it's been cut out, this is what it looks like. And then I'll be transferring whatever I have here to the back, and this is the pattern paper for the back. Like I said, we are using 4, so I've joined this one together like I did to the front pattern paper, and I'll be placing the front pattern on the back, just like this. And this is what it looks like when I place it on the back, and I'm going to be holding it down with the help of a pin, you know, just to avoid too much movement. And then I'll be extending the crotch area like this. It's not a straight line, it's a slant line, as you can see. And the extension is going to be by 3.5 inches. So I mark 3.5 inches at this point. That's the extension of the crotch at the back. So I extend it by 3.5. Then coming to the upper part, I'm going to be adding just 0.5 inch. Remember, we have already 0.5 inch for the joining at the front, so I'm going to be adding extra 0.5 inch to the back. This is to make the seam allowance for the back, that is the zip area, to make it 1 inch. So this is 0.5 inch extension at the back, and then this is what it looks like after joining together. And I'm going to be carving out the crotch area of the back. Okay, this is what it looks like when I carve out the crotch area at the back. And then at this lower part, I'm going to be extending the knee width and the ankle width by 1 inch. And this 1 inch is going to be marked all the way up to like 1 inch below the knee area. Okay, so this is 1 inch extension from the ankle to a little bit below the knee area. And then from that point, I'm going to be joining these 2 points together with a curve like this. Please make sure it's the curve, correct it if it looks pointed. So this is me correcting this. And then that is all for the back, and I'm going to be cutting out the back pattern just like I did to the front, as you can see. This is what the front and the back pattern of our jumpsuit looks like. So here is it. And then at this point, all our points, I'm going to be notching all these points. This is to make sure that the points are extended to the back as well. Okay, we only marked the front, but this notching is going to help me know where the point is that is at the back of the pattern paper for the jumpsuit. Okay, so the next thing is to fold this midpoint. That's the middle of the 7 inches. I'm going to be folding it out so that it's extended to the back, so that I would know where the point is at the back as well. So this is me folding the midpoint of our 7 inches. Okay, so this is it, the 7 inches. I fold it all the way so that the back can have the same reflection of where the pleat should be. So this is me after folding that. And then I take out my pins and come to the neck area. The neckline measurement, I'm going to be using 3 inches by 1 inch for the back, and then 3 inches by 3 inches for the front. Okay, so this is the front, and then this is the back. So this is me carving out the neckline for the back, and this is the neckline for the front. So you can use any neckline of your choice. So that one is at your own discretion. Whatever you feel like doing to the neck is up to you. So this is the neckline, and then I separate the front and the back pattern this way. So I place them towards each other this way, and then hold it together to give me one full piece. Okay, so this is the front and the back joined together. This is going to give you a very long piece at the end of the day. This is actually very long, I'm not going to lie. So you have to be very careful and patient to get this done. And now that we're done with the pattern paper, we're going to be transferring what we have on the pattern paper. We're going to be transferring it on the fabric. So this is our fabric folded into two. So I'm going to be placing the pattern paper on it just like this. And then this is very long, so you make sure your fabric is long enough to cover, because you can see we have this joining and there is no joining on the shoulder area. There is no joining, so we are going to be placing it as long as it can take on the fabric itself. There is no joining on the shoulder. If you remember this, the dress form of this Kaftan Bubu very well. So I'll be holding down I'll be holding down the pattern paper on the fabric with the help of an office pin or whatever thing that can help you hold it down, and I'll be cutting out exactly what I have on the pattern paper. I'll be cutting it out on the fabric. So you carefully move your fabric up and down. That's why I pinned it down in the first place, so that it doesn't get scattered before I finish the cutting. So you make sure you pin everything down very carefully and with a whole lot of patience. So I cut down all the way. Like I said, this pattern is very long, so you can see me moving it, like just moving and moving until I am done with the cutting, and you have to be very careful in doing that. So this is it. I've come to the end of the cutting, and this is what it looks like. I have my perfect cutout, and this is what it looks like. You can see this is the shoulder area. There is no joining. So this is what the whole thing looks like. And then you can see the line I folded for the pleat. You can see it is still visible. Okay, so but before I remove the pattern paper from before I separate the pattern paper from the fabric, I'm going to be making sure that this folding folding line for the pleat, I'm going to make sure that is reflecting on the fabric itself. So I'm going to be using an iron to iron out this line, this pleat line, so that it's reflecting on the fabric itself, so that I would know where my pleat should lie. So I have the pleat line ironed from end to the end, like from one end of the jumpsuit to the end, as long as it can cover. So this is it. So at this point, I'm good to take off the pattern paper. I'm going to take off the pattern paper from the fabric, and this is what the pleat looks like. You can see that we have our pleat on our fabric now, so we are good to take away the pattern paper from the fabric. So you carefully take this out, and you can keep it for the next use. Okay, whatever you want to do with the pattern paper is up to you, but at this point I am done with the pattern paper. So this is what my fabric looks like. So it's now for me to work directly on the fabric. So I separated the fabric, and this is what the two pieces of the fabric is giving me. So this is what it looks like. This is the crotch area. I'm going to be joining the crotch area. This is the front crotch area, and this is the back crotch area. Then for the back crotch area, I'm not going to be joining it all the way up. I'm going to be leaving an opening for the zip allowance. Okay, so I joined the front, I've joined the front, as you can see, and then the back I've joined up to the point that I want the zip allowance to stop. So this is it, and then I open it up this way. This is what I have, and I fold the zip allowance at the back. This is it. This is what I'll be using. I'll be using this fabric to make a beautiful design on the neck area. This is plain black fabric. So I just want to give it a beautiful look just on the neck area or any other part. So this is what the neck design is going to be looking like. I'm going to be placing this on the neck area as the facing. Okay, this is going to act as the facing as well as a design. So this is like a 2-in-1 for the neck area. But before I place it on the neck area, I'm going to be notching the center of this facing. I'm going to be notching the center so that I can place it exactly at the center of the jumpsuit itself, and I'm going to be stitching all the way, then turn it inside out. So this is me after stitching it. I'm going to be notching. Already know what notching does, so I notch and then top stitch on the main jumpsuit itself, not on the facing, because the facing is going to be outside. So I've done my notching, and then I turn it inside out, and this is what it's giving me. You can see how beautiful it has made the jumpsuit to look. Like, it's a plain black, so I don't want just that plain black. I'm not a fan of plain black, so I just needed a touch up, something that was going to make it look beautiful. Then I top stitch on it just to make it stick, and this is what it looks like. The next thing, I'll be fixing the zip, and this is the zip I used. I used the white zip just to complement the white color going on the facing, as you can see. And having done that, we are going to be moving to the pleat area. So you can see that our pleat line, we still have it very visible. This is why I always encourage, just iron everything out, so that whenever you are ready for your pleating, you're not trying to measure anything from the beginning again. So I just use the line I have ironed out already. I'm just going to follow it. Remember, I used 7 inches, and that is folding it into 2. I'm going to be stitching on 3.5 from the line I iron. From this point, I'm going to be stitching 3.5 all the way to the other end. And this is it, guys. I've stitched the 3.5 for the pleat, and this is what it looks like. This is what the pleat looks like. Okay, and next I'll be ironing out all the pleat area I've stitched down. I'll be ironing it out, like opening it up so that everything will lay flat. And this is it. I've ironed it out, and this is what it looks like, well laid, looking very beautiful. Like, I can't wait to rock this jumpsuit, I must tell you. So this is what it looks like. This is it, opening up the pleat, and then this is the body part I'm going to be holding together. That's the body of the jumpsuit itself, the main body. So that is where I'm going to be holding it in, and this is the other side as well. I'm going to be holding here down, as well as the main body of the jumpsuit, like I said earlier. Let me stretch it out so you can see what it looks like. This is it all the way. And next, I'll be inserting an inner pocket. What is jumpsuit without a pocket, guys? Like, what? So for that, I'm going to be measuring 20 to 21 inches from the shoulder. That's where the pocket is going to be starting from. This is 20 inches, and then 7 inches for the length of the pocket. That's for the length of the opening of the pocket. Okay, so this is 7 inches from the 20 inches from the shoulder. So this is what it looks like, the point for the pocket. That's the opening of the pocket. And guys, I'll be joining the crotch area. This is the crotch area. I turn it inside out so that I can hold the crotch area down from this point down, and then from this point down as well. And that I've done. Then coming to the side again, I'm going to be stitching the side down. Remember, we have a pocket, so I'm going to be stitching the side down, leaving the pocket opening, and then I turn it to the right side. Okay, so this is it. This is what the right side is looking like. This is what it looks like, guys. This is it. And then we have the armhole area and the pocket area. Okay, so this is the armhole area for the sleeve. This is where I'm going to be putting the sleeve. Then for the sleeve, I'm going to be cutting out the sleeve. This is the sleeve, and this is, I'm going to be using this piece of fabric to design the the sleeve as well, since we have it on the armhole, just to complement each other. So this is it. I've used the fabric to design the armhole, and I'm going to be placing this the sleeve into the armhole just like this. For those of you that were asking how I fixed the sleeve to the armhole area when I did the dress form of this bubu dress or Kaftan Bubu, this is how I did it. So this is the armhole area, and then I take the sleeve, I use the notched center. Okay, this part is already notched, and then I place it on the shoulder line of the jumpsuit itself. So this is just, it's very simple. You just place it, hold it down with a pin, and then you stitch all the way from one end of the armhole. You stitch from one end of the armhole to the other, just like this. Is that simple? Then you do the same thing to the other one. And now it's time to fold the hem, guys. It's time to fold the hem, but to do that, remember, we have stitched our pleat all the way down. We are going to be opening it because there is no way we are going to be having our edge folded without tampering with the pleats. Okay, so we want our pleat to remain the way we wanted it from the beginning. So to do that, we are going to open up, some inches of the stitching we did for the pleat. Okay, so I'm going to be opening up some length, like depending on how much you want to fold it. So now I'm done opening it. Now I can freely do my folding at the hem area. Okay, so I do my folding and then I stitch back what I already opened at the pleat area. Okay, so it's that simple. So you open up and then stitch back. Like, it's not difficult. It's not that difficult, I can bet you. It's as simple as opening up a few inches, then stitch it back by the time you are done folding. It's that simple. Okay, so guys, this is what it looks like. I've done my folding. You can see I've done my folding, and then the next thing is just to stitch back whatever I have opened. Like, there is no big deal. You just stitch whatever you have opened, just stitch it back. It is that simple. That is what you do to the hemming, because you can't do that before the whole process is okay, just to avoid one part looking longer than the other. So you just finish up before you do your folding, and that is what I've just done, guys. If you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button, and please give this video a huge thumbs up, because I know you have enjoyed watching this tutorial. Guys, our jumpsuit is ready. And guys, this is what our jumpsuit, our Bubu Kaftan, newest in town jumpsuit looks like. Guys, are you not loving this? Can you tell me you are not loving this? Like, this looks so elegant, so classy. I'm just so feeling myself in this jumpsuit. Like, everybody loved it, and I know you love it too. Please just hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed up to this moment. Give this video a huge thumbs up. Put up your post notification bell to get notified whenever I put up a new video. Guys, this is absolute beautiful. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.